coming to you live from the Mediaplex in downtown Windsor. This is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
Good evening, I'm Precious Alasa, and you're watching Mediaplex News Now. While the world grapples with the spread of coronavirus, 27 cases of COVID-19 have now been confirmed by Health Canada, including 19 in Ontario. While the virus has not made its way to Windsor yet, 12 people have undergone testing, and all tests came back negative. Concerned about public safety, Windsor's mayor called a meeting Friday with emergency and health personnel to ensure the city is prepared for the inevitable arrival of the virus.
What I want the public to know, and what Mayor McDonald and Mayor Bondi and other mayors want, is our entire region to know that there is good collaboration, communication, and cooperation amongst all the partners in our community as it relates to this particular virus.
Very good. Now let's head over to Zachary Balogh, where he's standing by with an early look at the weather. Zach?
Right now it's currently 8 degrees, a perfect evening. It is partly cloudy with a 60% chance of showers. It will drop to +1 this evening. Stay tuned. I'll be back a little later with your 3-day forecast. Precious.
Today, the Capitol Theatre launched Project Memories, a centennial celebration capturing the movies, music, and theatre that has passed through their doors. Daylin Davis was there to bring us this report.
The Capitol Theatre opened its doors on December 30th, 1920. Over the course of a century, hundreds of thousands of people passed through those doors to see music, movies, theaters, and more. Shalia Wisdom is the executive director who spoke on the event.
All in the early 90s, when arts groups were looking for a location to perform. And somebody said, why don't you look at the Capitol Theatre? And we walked in. There was actually a demolition permit issued on this building. It was in very bad repair. It had those ugly drop ceiling tiles that had water coming down. But you could look up, and through the ceiling tiles, you could see the beautiful ceilings that you see now in the Capitol Theatre.
The Capitol Theatre is celebrating its 100-year anniversary with Project Memories. My name is Daylin Davis, and you're watching Mediaplex News.
They say the greatest gift in life is one's time and attention, but from one local magician, it's the gift of magic that has the biggest impact. Bird Butcherd explains.
In the blink of an eye, your life could change forever. But there's one local man who makes trips to the hospital a little more magical. Ron Goodell loves volunteering with more than 40 local health organizations. Goodell has helped put smiles on more than 10,000 children's faces, but he says it's the kids who are truly magical.
I truly feel like I'm the luckiest guy on the planet. I absolutely love doing what I do, and again, I get to make people happy.
As part of Rare Disease Day, Goodell continued to give the gift of magic to the community. He performed tricks throughout the night, bringing smiles to people of all ages. Jody Kuma-Ravelu and Justina Timer are both rare disease activists. They voiced their gratitude for Goodell performing tricks for their children.
He is amazing, and he makes you smile every time, and I couldn't ask for anything more.
It's the second anniversary of my son's passing. He was 21. It brought me hope. I started believing in the system. I started believing in humanity. I knew that I can go on.
But Beech Grove isn't the only magic show that Ron does on a consistent basis. Every Monday, he also does what he likes to call Magic Monday.
Jen Burton-Liang is a child life specialist at Windsor Regional Hospital who thinks laughter is the best form of medicine.
I mean, nothing can top having your own magician, right?
Goodell hopes to continue to have a lasting impact on the community and doesn't see an end to his magic or volunteering.
I can't explain in words what Ron has done for this community.
An illusion. If magic were real, it looks more like this.
For Mediaplex News, I'm Bird Bouchard.
Councillor Reno Bortlane, who represents downtown and Ward 3, is cautioning people not to donate to Downtown Mission for now. According to Windsor Star, Bortlane says there are many red flags questioning their 2018 and 2019 deficits. These concerns come after the mission's decision to flip the library to a developer. We've reached out to Ron Dunn, director of the mission, and at this time, we've not heard back. On this edition of 3 Minutes, Pranav Patel explores the work of the Downtown Mission.
Hello, I'm Pranav Patel. Today we are spending 3 minutes with Rukshini Panya Guli, the Director of Development with the Downtown Mission of Windsor. What's the best part about the working at Mission?
I love working at the Mission because we help everyone that comes to the location or reaches out to us for support. It's one place that people don't have to feel they need to belong in any particular way. Doesn't matter what age they are, what religion, what race. We help anyone that comes to us. We do the best we can to support them with whatever they need and to help them move forward in their life.
What challenges you have faced in your position?
So the challenges kind of go along with what I just said about the best part about working at the Mission, that we help so many people. The challenge is to try to keep up with that need of people coming to us. We are seeing more and more people coming to us for support, and more people with more complex issues and challenges in their lives, that we're doing the best we can to try to keep up with that, to provide the support they need.
When did you join the Downtown Mission of Windsor?
Myself, I started working with the Mission about 4 years ago. I'm actually going into my 5th year now, and yeah, it's definitely changed a lot in the last 4 or 5 years. I've seen the growth and the the outreach that we're doing is much more than it was when I first joined, and the people coming to us, greater numbers and greater complex issues, like I said.
What is the goal of a Windsor Downtown Mission?
The goal, well, my boss always says it would be great one day if we can work ourselves out of a job, in which case nobody is homeless, nobody is experiencing homelessness or living in poverty. That would be wonderful. We're trying to do what we can to help the people that are living in poverty, to give them a good life wherever they are in society, and to help them with whatever little ways that we can.
Perfect. Why is the Downtown Mission so vital?
So vital? I believe it's vital because it's the one place, or it's one of the places that people feel safe, people feel connected, they feel supported. We do advocate for people as well, so some people who maybe feel they don't have a voice in society or don't feel comfortable speaking about what they're going through. Our staff, our volunteers, we do the best we can to speak for them if need be.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm Pranav Patel, and we have just spent 3 minutes with the Director of Development, Rakshini Panya-Goling. Thank you.
Thank you.
Windsor Public Library has modified its code of conduct after a recent shift into a new downtown building.
The library will no longer allow more than 3 personal belongings for each patron at the library. Vaping and use of communication devices that might disrupt others are also banned. These rules are in addition to the existing code of conduct that also do not allow sleeping in the building or offensive odors. But some drowsy readers are regulars in the library.
Right now, they let us sleep a little bit.
We have 2 fundamental rules. One is you can't do anything illegal in the library, and the second is don't bother the other guy.
The City of Windsor is set to begin Phase 2 of its major reconstruction of Huron Church Road beginning April 1st. The $4.8 million project will completely rework the stretch between Mauldin Road and Poole Avenue. Just last year, the city finished Phase 1 between Dorchester Road and Mauldin Road, and business owners are not quick to forget the impact construction had on businesses. Madeleine Mazak has more.
It's a typical day at Fred's Farm Fresh, but last spring, things looked a lot quieter for the local market.
So when they closed the expressway and they closed Northway, that one affected us quite a bit. In a 3-month period, we were down in sales for about $70,000. And then we end up, laying off a few people, sending people home early and things like that. So that does affect quite a bit.
Bozide said he is concerned construction this spring will impact his business once again.
The traffic moved very, very slow. So I'm sure that people, when they came, they saw that, they said, you know what, I'm going to take an alternative route or go someplace else. I'm not going to get caught up in that mess.
Typical construction occurs for 12 hours a day, but the noise bylaw exemption granted by City Council on Monday will help speed up the project. Contractors will be able to work 24 hours a day in order to complete the project by July 1st.
From our end of things, obviously the work has to get done, and we try to do it in such a manner that it has the least impact. We'll have information signs out in both directions, advising the motorists how to get to the various businesses that have been affected, so they can reroute themselves and get into those properties. It'll involve the complete removal and reconstruction of the road, including the curbs, the sidewalks, the road itself, and the street lights.
The
City of Windsor has applied for a grant from the Ministry of Transportation, which will allow them to begin Phase 3 of the project. That includes the Huron Church and College Avenue intersection, as well as the roadway between Gerardo Ave and Tecumseh Road West. They aren't expecting to hear back about that until March. However, I've heard if they are successful, they won't begin the project until 2022. For Mediaplex News, I'm Madeline Mazak.
Social media isn't just a way to keep up with friends. It's also a tool more and more businesses are using to reach their customers. Sierra Ross joins us live in the studio to explain.
From a basement business to being one of the most successful vintage and resale storefronts in Windsor, the boys behind Low End Vintage Shop are the poster children for the use of social media as a launchpad for small businesses. 2 years ago, a pair of former engineering students started selling their old clothes on Instagram, successfully using the platform to grow their business from online to a storefront on Polisher Street in downtown Windsor. Now, it's their full-time job.
I was really focused on school, but as this started growing, I kind of like shifted focuses, and it was a little hard to really balance both. So I ended up going to St. Clare for pre-health because I wanted to be a nurse, thought it would work out like that, but this kind of kept taking off and I just kind of committed to this. So,
using only Instagram and keeping clothes in their basement, their followers grew steadily to more than 7,000 people. Despite having no experience on how to run a business, they were able to transition from an online store to having a successful storefront in a prime Windsor location.
It was just like to a point where like it was too much to sometimes put on Instagram. Like we do like 30 to 50 posts a day. So then, you know, like I said, at one of the pop-ups, a bunch of people were like, yo, why don't you just open a store with all the inventory you have? So we ended up doing that on Sandwich.
Even though they now have a storefront, Instagram is still a huge part of their marketing and connection to customers. Success stories like Low End are inspiring other local businesses to focus on social media. Places like Coffee Exchange in downtown Windsor are now hiring someone specifically for social media marketing in hopes of tapping into a new customer base.
Now let's head back outside where Zach is standing by with Crime Stoppers. Zach?
With us today we have Constable Tim Harrington of Crime Stoppers. Tim, what do you have for us today?
Well, Zach, today the Leamington OPP are looking for witnesses for an accident that occurred yesterday, Monday, March 2nd, in the town of Leamington. The vehicle and driver failed to remain at the site of the accident. At approximately 6:45 a.m., a young teenager was using the crosswalk to cross at the corner of Elliott Street and Talbot Street West in Leamington when she was struck by a white SUV or van that failed to stop and sped away. The van was last seen traveling northbound on Elliott Street. The suspect vehicle may have sustained some damage. The victim, she was transported to the hospital and treated for minor injuries. Anyone who has witnessed this collision is asked to call the OPP at 519-326-2544. Or as always, if you wish to remain anonymous, you can call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. That's 1-800-222-TIPS. Or you can leave an anonymous tip online at www.catchcrooks.com, where you may be eligible for a reward up to $2,000.
So can you quickly tell us how the game dinner was? That's what we really want.
The game dinner was terrific. In particular, the crocodile bites were a hit, as was the duck pate and the bison stroganoff. It was terrific.
All righty, well, thank you. We were joined today by Constable Tim Harrington of Crime Stoppers. Back to you, Precious.
Thanks, Zach. In 2019, Windsor Police responded to over 125,000 calls. This is a 14% increase over the previous year. Swati Sharma tells us more.
According to 2019 year-end report presented to members of Windsor Police Services Board on Thursday, February 27th, mostly the calls were about firearms, general patrol work and driving offences. Sergeant Steve Betteridge, Public Information Officer with the Windsor Police Service, says the community needs to focus on calling 911 when they see impaired drivers.
Through a lot of public education, starting even very young, our community services officers visit grade schools and talk to little kindergarten students when to use 911, how to use 911. So our community has grown up with that. It's been here for generations now. They understand it. And for the most part, it's used when there's an emergency.
For Mediaplex News, I'm Swati Sharma.
One thing that almost always brings people from all walks of life together is food, and in Max the Liberator's case, chili.
Welcome to Chili Fest. Here in Leamington, people are coming out to enjoy chili, cake, and a little bit of charity. The funds from this event go to the South Essex Community Council's Accessible Transit. In order for the transit to get a brand new set of wheels, it is up to the community for support. Stephen Gard, a volunteer at the event, talks about community support.
It makes a fantastic community event because the community really comes together in the point that everything here is donated by the community, from sponsorships to our prizes to all of our chilies and soups. It's really truly a community event.
Chili Fest brings out a good crowd of people. This year, between 350 to 400 people came through the doors.
You know what? This started 24 years ago, so SECC has been the beneficiary since 2006, so it was long established by a long-standing committee of volunteers, many of whom are still helping us out today. So they've established it, and I think it's a perfect time of year. It's every single Chili Fest, something with the weather seems to happen, so on a snowy day like today, it's a perfect time for chili.
This year's Chili Fest was not only good chili, cake, and charity, but a good sense of community as well. I'm Max Deliberato, Mediaplex News.
Time to head back outside to see what the weather holds for the next 3 days. Zach, do you have good news for us?
I don't know if this is good news, but the clocks go ahead 1 hour this Saturday. There's no Cher song for that. Wednesday, there will be a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 7. Thursday, it will be sunny with a high of 9, and Friday, just in time for the weekend, there will be periods of snow showers with a high of 2. That's it for me. Back to you, Precious.
The stage of Plunge has been moved to downtown Windsor this year, which has undoubtedly attracted more people to take part in this significant challenge. I was there to bring you this report.
The annual Polar Plunge for Special Olympics athletes is back, and plungers are showing their support by taking a jump into very cold water.
Fundraising event started at exactly 5 p.m. with registrations from plungers and volunteers. Adam Young, the coordinator for Polar Plunge, tells us its purpose.
The purpose is to raise money and awareness for Special Olympics so that people with intellectual disabilities have a organization and sport to help them feel a part of the community.
From Mediaplex News, I am Precious Alasa. Windsor Google Developers Group, or GDG, focuses on technology coming out from Google. Their meeting this week sparked interesting conversation. Victor Ney was there.
Artificial intelligence, as known as its AI, is a new technical science to study and development serious methods and technicals, and the application systems for stimulating extending the human intelligence. On February 25th, the EPI Center at the University of Windsor was a mecca for everyone interested in both AI and big data. Big data is the analysis of information to reveal patterns, trends, and links, especially around human behaviors and interactions. GDG Windsor organizes the event and then focuses on software development such as Google Machine Learning, Google Web Technologies, and Android. Ali Ashraf says this was a night where they bring some people from industry around the area to come and talk about big data machine learning.
AI is the new hotness. It's definitely a technology that's in demand. You know, anyone that has skills doing it, machine learning, anything to do with big data or training models, implementing models, getting into production, anything of that sort. There's a lot of demand right now in IT.
Nora Eckholt wants to find a job using AI.
I've personally been always interested in AI and big data and how important it is for the future, and even now how companies are using it to help grow their companies and expand on things. So here I'm really hoping to maybe expand my own learning because AI is really interesting to me, and I hope to pursue a career in AI hopefully when I grow up, or when I get a job. So yeah, I'm pretty sure here I'll learn a lot.
GDG Windsor meets about once a month. Check the Eventbrite website for their next meeting. For Mediaplex News, I'm Victor Nier.
$27.40 a day in miscellaneous spending is a $10,000 a year habit. Ashley Golapor shares some tips and tricks.
Are you a full-time student who spends money fast? Well, I'm here to tell you some ways on how to save. According to Statistics Canada, the average person spends around $214 every month, not including going out for food. The average student spends per week is around $50 or more, depending on how much you go out. Here are the 5 top tips and tricks to save money while you are a student. Avoid going to the mall. There are certain things that may be tempting, but there are some things you want and maybe not what you need. Live with your parents. Doing this will save you a lot more money than you think, not paying for laundry or sometimes rent. Price matching. This will save you a couple of more dollars here and there when grocery shopping, even if your parents do all the shopping. Even better. Buy used textbooks. Textbooks can get costly if you have 6 or more classes every semester. Over the course of a year, a student will spend an average of $1,200 on textbooks and other materials that are needed for the course. Buying used can save you more money. Cell phone bill. Try to get a cheaper plan for your phone that's less than $100 a month. Older phones are usually cheaper, or find out if your job will give you a discount on your bill every month. That's all I have for you today. Saving money can take a big weight off of your shoulders, especially as a student. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Ashley Golampur.
Musicals are the subject of this Entertainment Minute, and Nadia Butler is here to break it all down.
Before dialogue was ever incorporated into movies, music played a huge part in visual storytelling.
I whistle. I'll give it to him hard and heavy. Go right ahead.
Goodbye. Synchronized dialogue brought us the quality of films we know today with the release of Warner Brothers' The Jazz Singer in 1927. So, if music is such a huge part of movie making, why has it been so hard lately for companies to transform a believable musical from stage to screen? Sometimes the stars have to align between the right project and the right production company. In the Heights is Warner Brothers' latest endeavor to bring a Broadway musical to life on the silver screen. A Tony Award-winning score, contemporary subject matter, and characters that make you feel in all the right places, In the Heights is about protecting Latin heritage in the Hispanic American neighborhood of Washington Heights, New York City. This fast-paced musical is the brainchild of Broadway's sold-out blockbuster, Hamilton. Lin-Manuel Miranda and Chiara Alegria Hudes have created a timeless piece of theater that seems to translate well between stage and screen. Although this is a far stretch from Warner Brothers' more traditional musicals like The Wizard of Oz and Singin' in the Rain, they just may have a hit on their hands this summer.
We came to work and to live, and we got a lot in common. DRPR, we are not stopping. Every day, until the day we go from poverty to stock options. Today's all we got, so we cannot stop. This is our block in the Heights.
St. Clair College's very own basketball team makes it to the quarterfinals. Marco Riviere reports.
The Sportsplex was home to the St. Clair men's basketball team's first berth to the OCAA quarterfinals since 2007 with the 91-88 win over La Cité this past Saturday. Saints guard David Gomez Jr. returned from injury to lead the team with 24 points while adding 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 6 steals. Guard Josiah Deere talked about the significance of accomplishing this win and the importance of it being at home.
Like, it was the first big win like that in the Sportsplex in like 7 years, and the first time that, you know, a group like this is going to OCs to compete for a championship. And we had our home crowd here. We were very loud. It was very excited. We're looking forward to this weekend.
Co-head coach Matt Sykes talked about what the win meant for him and his team.
Yeah, you know, it's huge for our program. When me and Coach Segan took over, it was kind of like a 5-year plan, and it's only our second year and we got there, so it came a little quicker than we thought it would. But you know, the guys competed and they deserve this.
The Saints will look to continue their successful run when they face Seneca College in the quarterfinals on March 6th. For Mediaplex News, I'm Marco Rovere.
Toronto investors are eyeing a massive student housing development in Sandwich Town. But as Kanal Patel explains, they'll still have some hurdles to clear before shovels can hit the ground.
High rent has left many students stuffed in single-family homes.
I've seen people living
8 to 10 people in 3 rooms and just 1 bathroom.
To address these concerns and alleviate problems around student housing, local developers are bringing a new student housing plan to Sandwich Town. The project will build around the Barrel House on Sandwich Street, giving more than 300 students a place that is exclusively designed for them. According to the developers, the project will also attend to some critical issues in the area and free up the single-family homes for the community.
A lot of the student housing facilities are fill-ins. People are renting out large homes in a room here and a room there, and they're not really designed for that purpose.
But it's not a done deal. The city must still rezone the land. But the developers are hopeful that this project, when approved, will set an example for other businesses in the area.
We hope that this project will be a bit of certainly a catalyst project for the rest of Sandwich and focus on what can happen here.
According to the developers, if everything goes well, the construction will begin by the spring of this year. The student housing will be able to accommodate its first residents by the fall of next year or by winter 2022. For Mediaplex News, I'm Kanal Patel.
This show wouldn't be complete without some weird news from the weirdest places. Here is Zachary Balogh with the latest.
Hey viewers who ended up staying to the end of the show, boy do I have a treat for you. Time for some weird news. This story out of New Hampshire where a police chief was stripped literally of his duties. The Huffington Post reports Richard Lee, who was the small town police chief for 20 years, was told his position would be eliminated. Lee was asked to turn in his uniform immediately. According to Lee, he gave them his uniform, his turtleneck, and his pants and just walked out in his underwear. He was picked up by his wife sometime later. Stripping cop. Maybe for his next job he can work as a stripper, you know, for those bachelorette parties. It's time to go to no man's land, otherwise known as Florida. Let's hear it.
Florida man, Florida man.
LaughingPlace.com reports a Florida man by the name of Patrick Spikes was arrested for stealing approximately $7,000 worth of items, probably like those Disney pencils, at Walt Disney World and selling them. Spikes was even a former cast member at Disney where he stole the items. Glad to see the police got him before Mickey did. Wendy's famous for their Baconators, their Frosties, and employees bathing in the sink. Wait, what? This story comes from Greenville, Michigan. A Wendy's employee by the name of Paul Cash and his coworkers filmed a video of Cash bathing in the sink. The employee then posted the video of him scrub-a-dub-dubbing to the app TikTok. According to Wood TV, the manager found out. Wonder why. Cash and the workers in the video were all fired. Too bad for Mr. Cash, because now he ain't getting no cash. Don't tell Vero I said ain't. That's the weirdness for this Tuesday. Tune in to Friday Live this Friday at 10 a.m. on Mediaplex News Radio. For Weird News, I'm Zachary Balogh.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Precious Alasa, and you've been watching Mediaplex News Now.
Mediaplex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism Program.